Hi all, welcome back or welcome. This is Aiyana speaking again. So today I'm gonna do another whisper ASMR with coloring. Probably still gonna talk about older cartoons, just different ones. I don't actually know what I would pick. I'll think about that. I'll figure it out by the time I finish my intro. But sorry if you don't like the sort of ambient sound, the background noise. It is actually raining here. So we actually have some soft rain sounds in the background while we talk and color. So that's going to be a part of the video today. I hope that's alright. So I am going to go ahead and jump into this. I'm still trying to think of what I want. One Piece. I will talk about One Piece. Technically that's an anime and not a cartoon, but it is still old. I think it may actually be as old as me. No. Is it older than me? Am I older? I don't actually remember which one of us is older. It's been around for a while. Let's go with that. If you were a 90s kid or born in the 90s or both, you understand the struggle of like, is that technically older than me? Am I older? Did we grow up together? You know, that you have with like toys and fandoms and things. So yeah, I'm gonna talk about One Piece. I just realized I could probably talk about One Piece across multiple videos. So I need to be more specific. Maybe we should talk about Roger, which is hilarious to me because it's raining. I'm not gonna explain why it's hilarious, it just is. Anyway, if you want to see more videos like this, where I just kind of talk about like, well, anything but lately anime and cartoons while I color. If you like this kind of whisper ASMR with like sometimes like nice soothing ambient sounds, then you've come to the right place. Make sure you subscribe and like the videos. Oops, that was me jostling the camera. Once again, the hair stick is a bookmark. So, the past two videos, I was actually doing a different design. I was actually doing this design the past two videos. But I feel like I might go back to this one, because there's quite a bit of this one that I have not filled in yet. There's the green. Anyway, Roger. So, if you're at all familiar with One Piece, you are probably aware of One Piece being this like awesome treasure that the Pirate King left behind. Well, let's talk about that Pirate King, huh? So, Roger, Gold, G-O-L-D, standalone letter, Roger. And remember, they put their last names first. Well, family name, whatever. You know, most of the time, because also Edward Newgate exists. I just kind of figured the custom was different. Wow, really? I might have to talk a little louder. So, I just figured the custom was a little different, depending on what part. Really, Thor? I'm not saying don't make it rain, but did you have to make it rain so hard? Anyway, Thor's having a good time. Or maybe a bad time. I don't really know, but he's having a time. Anyway. Give me 1 second. Okay, anyway, sorry about that. So, I'm back. I'm gonna raise my whispering volume just a little bit, but that's so that I can be heard over whatever Thor is doing. As you can hear, there's thunder, there's lightning, the rain is quite loud. So I don't know if I want to get really, really close to my device, or if I need to get a little bit louder. But anyway, what were we talking about? We were talking about Roger, yes. So, Roger. Apparently, he was a goofball. Also, apparently he was honorable and childish and had a temper. the world government really tried to make him seem like a bad person, but being irresponsible doesn't make you a bad person. And to be honest, he wasn't that irresponsible, he just wasn't that smart. Like, he was, but he was also, like, goofy and oblivious and, ironically, at times naive, which is kind of funny because of who he was. I wouldn't say he was stupid. He's just, well, there's a reason people say that they see him and Luffy, and that Luffy's like him come back again, because, like, Luffy's not necessarily stupid per se. Like, I know a lot of people like to throw around that word, and bless his heart, he has his moments, but he's not stupid. He just sees the world differently. Like Roger saw the world differently, and they see the world in mostly the same way, so it makes sense that A, people would compare them, and B, that both of them would be called stupid when they're not. Anyway, apparently, Roger was very protective and also very terrifying. Well, if you're an enemy, I would assume. Well, or you're someone who's not close to him and you don't really know about him. All a lot of people knew was apparently that he's really strong and the government didn't like him, which is actually quite a lot of information when you think about it. I really don't know how anyone in their world at all has any faith in their government. Like, this isn't me going to go on a spiel about how you should be an anarchist or something. If that's what you want to do, then you do that. I definitely don't support blind nationalism because, we've seen where that leads. I mean, do I really need to say it? Do I really need to say it? Open a history book. See where that got us. Well, not necessarily us. Okay, definitely us. But I was talking about different countries. Although, also us. Lots of countries. Blind nationalism is not a good thing. And loyalty should definitely be earned. It's just like, I just mean that their government is just, it's wild. It really is. I honestly just, like, I know they have so much propaganda and so many cover-ups and things like that, that they're like, common people don't really know things, but it's just wild how successful they were. Like, wholesale people think that Roger was evil in some way, but also, like, it wouldn't matter if he was. I mean, he wasn't, but it also wouldn't matter if he was, because there's no way that his wife and child would, like, automatically be evil, nor should they be, like, you know, persecuted. But that's what they did. Oh boy, that's what they did. They really went, we're gonna wipe out a whole island because he sneezed near it. They really said that, huh? Like, because I'm sure they did. Probably more than one. Now, is it confirmed that they just went island to island and shoved everyone in a mass, you know, burial ground? I mean, as far as I know, it's not explicit that they literally went and, like, took out everyone on, like, 20 islands in a row. But I also wouldn't not believe it, because it also sounds like something they would do. Like, the government there is just so terrible. Like, as far as I know, there's no one that explicitly said, yeah, they wiped out an 80 island chain. But I also wouldn't put it past them to do that. So if it came out later that they actually did that, I wouldn't be surprised, you know? But somehow people think that, like, the government is good and Roger is bad. I'm like, what did they do? Did they, like, somehow convince people that Roger's ghost is the reason those islands are gone? Like, were people thinking it's okay for entire islands or island chains to go missing? Because, let's be real, whether or not the anime way her manga said it, I'm sure it happened. Like, I'm sure it did. Because their government is terrible, and it would do that. Like, it doesn't have to explicitly say that, IMO, because their government is the kind of government that would absolutely do that. So, I know it's speculation, but honestly, can you blame people for thinking that, considering the government's in One Piece, its track record? Can you? I can't think of a single thing Roger did that would be considered worse than something they did, but they somehow justify all the terrible stuff they do, as far as like capturing like his family and probably his crew, if you think about it. I mean, if they're willing to put all of that effort into going after a literal newborn, or actually probably a fetus too, because I'm sure the hunt happened way before he was born, or else Rouge wouldn't have felt like she needed to, keep Ace inside for so long. What do you think they did to the people that actually, did crimes with him? I'm not saying they caught any of them, but they probably tried. So it's just how? How do they justify what they do? Because what they do is definitely worse than what any of those people have done, but somehow those people are the bad ones. Roger never went after babies. He adopted children. I know they were cabin boys, but come on. Spending all those years with him, they had to look up to him as a father figure or mentor of some kind. He wasn't just a captain. And knowing Roger and how much he loved his crew, yes, loved his nakama, then I probably said that wrong, but I don't speak Japanese, so think about how much he loved them. I'm sure that the kids that were taken in, they were cabin boys. He probably thought of them as if not sons, then as little brothers or something, he cared a lot. And he was good to them. Otherwise they wouldn't be so comfortable around him. Do I have a canon page saying he spoiled them or something? No. But the looks on their faces, their interactions, their expressions, that's not how you act when you're afraid of someone, They act like they look up to him, like they admire him, like they adore him, like they love him even. So I know for a fact he's not, mistreating them in any way, because if he was, they wouldn't act the way they were. They would be afraid of him. And they weren't. Plus, I'm sure we would have had some kind of panel sequence for the manga. We would have had some kind of panel sequence of them, acting one way in one, and then having, a mental breakdown in the second one. So it's obvious that he treated them well, because it's not like One Piece shies away from, graphic depictions of mistreatment. So we would have known if he did anything to them, intimidated them, upset them, hurt their feelings, treated them badly. We would have known, because it would have been shown, I mean, we've literally seen Luffy almost expire 5 times. We've seen multiple people expire. I have no doubts. If there was actually anything going on where they were having to pretend to be happy but they were actually terrified, we would have been shown that. We've been shown many terrified characters. We've been shown many mistreated characters, which tells me that they were not mistreated by him. By others maybe, but not by him. And the way they act around him, they care about him, he cares about them. There's just no way. There's no way, So, not to mention that I have special insight on what that would look like. I forgot to go to the center here. But yeah. Like I was saying, it's clear he took care of his people. I mean, his people. They thought he was the literal best. You're not gonna someone's the literal best, even when you don't have to, even when no one is watching, even when he's like long gone, unless you actually thought they were the literal best. Like, there's no level of denial that would make them do that. There's no level of like fear that would keep them from doing that once they were safe, quotes. So he definitely treated them all well. I think that he just seems jolly, you know? He just seems lighthearted. He seems, oh, geez, what's the word? Cheerful's not right. Carefree. I don't know. Point is, he just doesn't come off as having a single evil bone in his body. So I really don't know where they got that from. Like, you can tell they kind of just like made it up. They're like, guys, we gotta give him some bad qualities. Like, that was some top tier propaganda. It really was. Because you shouldn't have been able to tell from a distance, from the outside, that he was like not mistreating them, like, at all. So, like, I'm surprised that the like urban, like, story sharing, folk tales and things, well, not folk tales, not like folk tales anyway, but word of mouth, gossip, rumors. Like, I'm surprised people's like interactions with him didn't get talked about more. Well, people that weren't enemies anyway. Like, I'm sure their government would have tried to suppress any overly positive depictions of him, but like, when he was still alive, I'm surprised there weren't more people being like, oh yeah, that Roger, he's a great guy, to like the random merchant from South Blue who tells his merchant colleague from West Blue, who then tells his wife, who tells her sister in East Blue. You know what I mean? Like, it just seems weird that everyone wholesale believed it. Like I said, that's got to be some top tier propaganda. Top tier propaganda. Because Roger was just, like I said, jolly, lighthearted, carefree, until you hit his berserker button. And as far as I can tell, that berserker button, that was centered around protecting people that he cared about, or people that couldn't protect themselves. Like, from what I've gathered with mine own eyes, it makes me really sad that, like, Ace had to grow up hating both his father and himself, because all he had were these, like, horrible smear campaign type stories where they basically just said, like, the worst things they could think of about his dad. Like, just sad. Also, give me like 5 seconds. I need a tissue. Okay. Gotta scoot back. Okay. Okay. Sorry about that. Allergies. So, I just got that. But yeah, I don't see it. I'm not seeing it, They're like, oh, he's so terrible. I'm like, but where? To the Marines, because y'all are trying to arrest him and people he cares about. You also support the Celestial Dragons, who literally endorse, well, forced human servitude. And forced servitude of other sapient creatures. Like, I don't really think that's a crime. I honestly don't understand how any of the civilians have respect for the Marines, because it's not a secret that the Celestial Dragons are A, backed by the Marines, B, backed by the rest of the world government / make up the rest of it, and C, they literally own people, which is disgusting. Like, the thought of someone owning someone else is just disgusting to me. But anyway, like, that's not a secret. It's not a secret. They do that in the open, but somehow Roger's the bad guy. Somehow he's done something that's worse. I really don't know what's worse than kidnapping people and then forcing them to serve you until they expire, but you know, he just got such a bad rap and it's really sad. He sounded like such a cool guy. Especially because, like, apparently when he met Rayleigh, like, one of the things that he said was like, do you want to turn the world upside down with me, or something along those lines. And I was just like, heck yes, sign me up. I was like, yeah, let's go. I was ready. I was like, when can I go? I was ready to go. Yeah, and me was ready to go. I was just so ready. I was like, me, take me with you. I was like, take me with you. I want to go. Pick me. I was ready to go, okay? I was ready to go. As soon as he said those words, I was like, yep. Like, he almost sounded like a revolutionist before that was a thing in their world. Because he was those, I'm like paraphrasing, it's not an exact quote, but just the like, do you want to come turn the world upside down with me? I was like, you got me. I was like, you know what? Maybe I do. I was like, maybe I do want to do that. I was kind of sad that I couldn't actually do that. I was like, that sounds really fun. The other thing, I could have never, like, I know the crew disbanded for their, like, for very practical reasons, whether or not it was said. Like, obviously a crew can't have a captain, and none of them thought that they could take his place, probably, and they didn't want some outsider to become captain, and it was safer. Like, for all those sentimental reasons, plus the very, like, plain and simple fact that they wouldn't be the Roger Pirates without Roger, plus the argument that, you know, some of them may have felt that they'd be safer split up, which doesn't make sense to me, but whatever. Like, if anything, I would think you would be in more danger when you were alone, but, you know, who am I? Who am I? You know, but I guess that was the reasoning. I don't really know. I just know, well, for one, I can only color one more flower, because this is gonna, I really don't want this to hit 30 minutes. I'm gonna color one more flower. One. And then we gotta go. We gotta bounce. Okay. So I have 2 orange flowers, so I'm gonna probably pick, let's see. Let's make this orange really quick. But like I understand why they couldn't go on as the Roger Pirates and as a crew, but I don't understand why more of them, and maybe they did, but why they didn't stay in, like, not necessarily one large cohesive group, but why they didn't break up into smaller groups, like, of, like, 2s and 3s. Because if your argument is that the whole group is less, it would be too noticeable, then 2 or 3 people traveling together would be smaller than the whole, you know, crew, obviously. Plus, they wouldn't be alone, because I feel like it would be very easy to, like, corner and defeat someone when they're alone, when they don't have strength in numbers, when they don't have someone watching their back or they're blind. blind spots. You know, when they don't have someone covering their weaknesses, when there's really no one to notice that they're gone until it's too late. Like, I would think small groups, if you have to split up, would be better than making everyone alone. But maybe that's just me. Let me take this off. Or like, let me switch arms. But it just didn't make a lot of sense to me. I was like, wouldn't it be safer for you to not be alone? Like, okay, point. Maybe it's not safe for you to stay in one large crew. But why would you not break up into groups of 2 to 3, maybe even 4, depending on how many group members you have, instead of going it alone? Like, it just doesn't make sense, you know? Didn't make sense at all. But anyway. And there are all kinds of ways they could have done it. They could have split people up based on whose powers and abilities directly complemented each other or worked in cooperation with each other directly. They could have split it up in pairing, like, the strongest with the weakest, so that the weakest isn't just on their own getting, like, trounced left and right, left, right, center, you know? Like, I feel like there are just ways they could have done this. Like, they could have just done a regular old buddy system, I don't know, like, they could have agreed to temporarily separate but meet up somewhere. Like, it just seemed weird. Like, it was just very bizarre to me, the way they did it. And, you know, I'm not actually sure, like, I don't know the size of the groups, if they were all alone or if they decided to, you know, but, like, it just doesn't make sense for them to completely split up, but then not do, like, a buddy system or small groups or something. Anyway, that is all I got today. I actually feel like I didn't get to talk about as much as I wanted, and you'd be surprised how long it actually takes to color these flowers. But from today, we have this yellow one, this orange one, we have this pink one, this blue one, this gray one, this green one. Did I do anything else today? I feel like that was it. Did I already say this blue one? I feel like I did. Oh, and this gray one as well. So I actually did these 2 gray ones today, just like I did 2 yellow today. And then, like I said, green, blue, the pink. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know what I'll talk about next time, but the rain finally, like, kind of, like, slackened off, like, kind of, like, quieted. I don't know if it stopped or if it just got soft again, because I actually didn't know it was raining until it started pouring, because earlier apparently it was, like, drizzling, and I didn't know, because I always get sleepy when it's rainy, you know? I don't know why. I don't know if that's, like, a biological response, like a change in pressure type thing, or if it's, like, just random. But anyway, thanks so much for watching. Again, if you don't want to miss the next one, make sure you subscribe.